It's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, the council member in Ydanis and Rodriguez, who represent the 10 council districts at New York City. During his time in office, council member Rodriguez has been a fierce advocate for working families and those striving toward the middle class. As a progressive market legislator and leader, Ydanis has stood at the forefront of effort to close the wage gap, enhance workers' right fight for protection for immigrants and build safer communities. He has always been a champion for social justice since his time leading student movement against tuition increase and police brutality. Carrying through to his highly visible support of Occupy Wall Street protests and worker action, Ydanis has been profiled as Time Magazine 2011 Person of the Year for his action during Occupy Wall Street. At the time, Ydanis has burnished his credential as a progressive who can get things done. Upon assuming his current role as the chairman of the New York City Council Transportation Committee, he's led effort to pass a package of 14 bills to enhance pedestrian and cyclist safety. During his time as chair, traffic-related fatality has fallen year over year to record low, and Vision Zero has become a traffic safety model adopted in cities across the country. Ydanis has become a recognized figure on the citywide level as a major voice for tenant rights, transit equity, and the need to craft a more sustainable city in the face of multi-climate change. He remains focused on improving the equality of life for all, regardless of background, aiming to build a stronger, more resilient city we can be proud of. Through his effort, he continues to build consensus on issues vital to the success of city residents and stand up for those in need at every turn. And Ydanis also is a graduate of City College, and we're proud to have him. And please join me to welcome Councilman Ydanis.
Good morning, everyone. Only in New York City, we can say that this gentleman, 53 years old, coming to New York City at the age of 18 without speaking the language and not having any experience about the history of the yellow taxi industry that started close to 100 years ago, it was going to be so important in my life. Again, no experience at all before coming to New York City in 1983. And one of my third job was to be a delivery taxi driver. So I was going, my father took me to get my first job washing dishes at Old Henry Restaurant at West 4 and 6th Avenue. And then from there, working in a cafeteria in the Workers Center for Food Council Corporation. And then after studying at City College, my brother-in-law and I, we went to Route 46 in Jersey, invest $1,500 to buy a Chevrolet Impala, get insurance $300 and ready to work. He was 12 Cali car service and then Bailey car service, and I was a 112 in the delivery taxi industry. So I didn't come to the council saying that I understood, how important was the icon of the yellow taxi industry in New York City. And even in my first 4 years, when I was at the council, when I used to be a member of the transportation committee, we were not dealing with the crisis that we have in the city. But now, from our role in the transportation committee, we have realized that we have to level the playing field for all sides. No, nothing against any particular tech company. We have 75. Uber leave additional 73, and they provide services. I can say my wife she uses Uber a lot when she go to Philip, going for educational degree, and here too. So in our family, it's not that we have anything. I'm for innovation. We are raising our children knowing that consumers want to have better services. But my issue is when not everyone is playing the same rule and regulation. And I think in a city where we have 60 million tourists that came here last year. Most of them staying in Midtown. A city of $8.5 million providing market for everyone to do well. But I hope that as a tech industry, the new black card, that I believe we need to create that sector in the TRC, because we need to regulate also as they are completely different from a black card used to be. In the 60, in the 70, in the 80, most of them were working with the account, with the chase, and the shares on limit. Now it's another sector doing a street help in many cases. So for me, again, I want to say, be very clear, I'm for all industry, I'm for creating the best opportunity for all New Yorkers and immigrants like myself to have opportunity to invest, to take risk, and to see the return. But I also feel that we need to be there for that particular sector of the yellow taxi industry, especially the 6,000 individual Medallion owners, that they purchase that valuable certificate, expecting that they were getting the value to get a mortgage, to buy a house for the family, to send their kids to college. And now we are saying that it doesn't have that value anymore. It's like the housing crisis. We bail out the housing crisis. And banks were able to get support from the federal government. And here we have created a completely different rule and regulation, especially to those sectors in the yellow taxi industry. And we need to have this conversation, all of us together, from my friend, the mayor, to the speaker and all the stakeholders, on what is our responsibility to be there for those hardworking men and women that we have left behind in this reorganization of the taxi industry. I want to give a special thanks to Matt, though, and let's give him a big round of applause. This great institute and City College, again, for being always there, not only when it comes to the TLC, but also transportation in general. I first suggested to hold a forum to address the state of medallions in our city several months ago, because I know this is one of those tough conversations we need to have. At the end, I hope we can come out of this with a better idea on how to move forward as a city to support the thousands of New Yorkers who put their livelihood into a dream, only to see it vanish. Just 5 years ago, medallions were one of the surest bets in the financial sector, backed by the years of regulations and the exclusive right to hail a cab in the central business district in the world. Many thought their value would never falter, but by today, those same assets have fallen in value by nearly $1 million per medallion, and many of New Yorkers who put their all into these assets face debt payments based on a price well beyond the current value of the medallions. We all know what happened as it relates to new entrants into these markets and the force of will that these companies possess. But we also know that when those medallions were purchased from the city, there was an understanding that certain regulations will be upheld and enforced. And I know many in this room will attest that this has not happened. Yet, what we need to do now is decide what happens next. I can tell you that nobody in leadership in our city wants to see an industry fail. And I hope that everyone will come on board to rescue the medallion, the yellow taxi medallion industry. Over the past 4 years, as chair of the Transportation Committee, I have worked hard to try to level the playing field for all taxis and for hire vehicle business. As many of you know, this even came at the expense of personal attacks against me and many of those who stand for all sectors of the taxi industry. During this time, I spearheaded legislation to create universal license for all for-hire vehicle drivers that remove some of the barriers to entry for taxi drivers. This has had a positive impact. A few months ago, well, we all but eliminate the medallion transfer tax so that this market could see more liquidity. We made it easier for banks to hold onto distressed assets instead of being forced to sell them in a fire sale by eliminating the owner-driver requirements. And that was my legislation. We also raised the fines associated with legal street held in the central business district and at the airport, that I was able also to pass this legislation, bring the fine to $10,000. Now we have to enforce. And I'm prepared to do more because I know we owe it to our medallion owners as a city to enable them to compete in these new markets. Today, only taxi and green cabs are seriously required to have wheelchair accessibility, a true civil rights issue we continue to face. And at the beginning of 2015, I introduced I started working with a language legislation, bringing the same requirement to black cars and others, as we also are mandating the yellow taxi industry. This needs to change. We need to require that everyone plays a role in providing services to wheelchair users. Whenever new medallions are set to be issued, there must be environmental impact studies done. That requirement is already made to the yellow taxi industry, but the requirement is not the same for black cars and other sectors in the taxi and limousine. Yet, when tens of thousands of new for-hire vehicles hit our street, clogging traffic in Midtown Manhattan, we see no measure of their impact on our environment. This needs to change. We need to require that those that put the most cars on our streets are accounting for the impact. And I plan to introduce legislation on this issue very soon. The number of enforcement officers looking for the rampant abuse of illegal street hails is wholly insufficient. This behavior must be curbed as they operate outside of the law and hurt our existing industry, especially when these cars are sometimes not even licensed by the TLC. This is a public safety hazard, and we should not allow our residents and visitors to be subject to it. I will work hard during the next budget to fight. I will continue working hard in the next budget to fight for the hiring of more enforcement agents to curb this illegal behavior. We should go here, right? I have also been proactive on this front, understanding that thousands of new drivers will be licensed by the new TNC laws passed by our state, granting the ability to operate in the counties surrounding New York City. Just this week, I sent a letter to the head of the county legislator in Westchester requesting that they work with the Taxi and Limousine Commission to establish uniformity with our regulatory structure in New York City. This is especially important when it comes to knowing who drivers are and who is responsible for what cars. I will be doing the same for Nassau, Suffolk, Brooklyn, and Putnam counties because we know that some of the residents will be requesting pickups and drop-off on our streets too. This coming fall, I pledge to hold hearing at the Council Transportation Committee to discuss the taxi of tomorrow that was forced upon this industry, in which both disabled persons and taxi drivers alike have issue with. In addition to the fact that it has since faced several recalls by the manufacturer. I want to also address the Toyota Camry Hybrid, a car that for-hire vehicle companies can use today, but a taxi are restricted from driving even if the drivers prefer it. I want to support drivers as well who have seen a race to the bottom when it comes to wage and protections in this industry. I want for drivers to continue to be able to make driving a cab in this city a profession upon which they can raise a family. With so many immigrants working in this sector, many of whom are like myself, I like driving a car to establish themselves and get a leg up here. Supporting this sector is key and finding ways to make their lives easier with reliable ways is so important. This is crucial for the medallion industry and its many shareholders. To move forward productively, it is important that the many participants in this sector come together to advocate and innovate for their industry. This means both drivers and medallion owners, because both are vital. It is not secret that New Yorkers appreciate the ability to hail a car from the phone at the tap of a button. Taxis have done a good job of quickly rushing to meet this shift in demand on their own, but the exclusive right to hail will always have value because it is truly the easy way to get a ride. This is why the medallion industry will never and should never truly fail, so long as the city protect their valuable right, and this is our responsibility. This is an industry that I know will get back on its feet, and I want to say that I am with you in this effort, and I hope from the mayor to the speaker and the rest of my colleagues in the private sector, we work together to bring the yellow taxi industry back as it was 10 years ago. I know that the playing field still needs balancing. I know that taxis remain burdened by strict regulations while other players in the market are free from them. I want to make sure that all operating with the same rules and that the customer has a range of safe, efficient, affordable, and reliable options, no matter who they choose to ride with. I want to be sure that everyone who has invested considerable resources into their business here are not hurt by regulations that favor some over others. That's also why today I would like to propose a blue ribbon commission comprised of independent experts and economists to study the fault of the value of medallions and what stands in the way of a comeback. I want this commission to issue a set of recommendations by the end of this summer on where we must make changes to the existing regulatory structure to recoup lost value. This will help fulfill our city responsibility to those that purchased medallions from us over the past decades. Money that went to support city services and initiatives. And at the end, I promise to review and elevate the funding of this commission so we can get this back on track. The taxi medallion sector is a 100-year-old industry that has supported our city during tough times and to whom we owe a lot. It is an industry that deserves a flourish again, and which we can when playing on an even playing field. I want to see an industry that regains its hope and continue to serve New Yorkers for decades to come. This is my goal, and I hope to work with many of you in this room to accomplish it. I'm eager to hear your ideas and thoughts, and I will continue to be a partner to all those who share this vision. Thank you.